Lancers, and your Bethune-Cookman University Wildcats. Starting out from Longwood University. Third baseman number 33. Starting second, shortstop number 24, Gregory Ryan. Going third, baseman number 30, James Miller. Got a fourth, left fielder number 35, Luis Molina. Got a 7% number 27, Jerry Monteroski. Got a fielder number 8, Dan Wilson. Got a center number 2, number Joker. First pitcher for the Mets is number 0, Rose Grader. The Mets will take up Wildcat. And now, for your Pregame University Wildcat. Batting first, third baseman, number 5, Luis Tuero. Batting second, left fielder, number 34, Garrett Shaw. Batting third, right fielder, number 4, Highland Hall. Batting fourth, designated hitter, number 31, Ronald Ayala. Batting fifth, first baseman, number 35, Garrett Shaw. Batting sixth, catcher, number 22, Erwin Escobar. Batting seventh, center fielder, number 9, Malik Stevens. Batting 8, shortstop, number 25, Jeremy Garcia. Batting 9, second baseman, number 2, Coleman Olsen. Starting pitcher for your Wildcats, number 19, Luis Guerrero. The Wildcats is influenced by Johnny Kirkland. There you are, please rise. I'm Garrett Wilson for playing the Wildcats right now.
Well, live from Jackie Robinson Ballpark, it's time for Bethune-Cookman University Baseball on the Can-I Network. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company. Happy to have the company of Bryce Hoynowski along for the ride as well, as the Wildcats open up their final home non-conference series against the Longwood Lancers out of Farmville, Virginia. Longwood 2-8, haven't played a Big South Conference game yet, but the pop is at the top of the order for them, as Elliott Dix coming in hitting a 6-game hit streak, and the Lancers as a whole have 4 multi-homer games. For Bethune-Cookman, they are 6-3, 0-0 in the SWAC. Haven't played a conference game yet. We'll get to them very shortly. They have been mostly dominated by the pitching, and going only lost 1 game at home, I think, Bryce. It was right all the way at the beginning of the season.
Dropped 1 of 3 against Longwood. Yeah, Mike, they come into this game after a Tough loss, absolutely, on the weeknight against UCF, 9-0. I don't think that score is quite indicative of the way they played, particularly on the mound when you talk about pitching. Had some guys, Pablo Torres came off with a solid start for the Wildcats. Gabe Perez, Marcos Gamboa, Yoancel Diaz. Had a little bit of a hiccup in the ninth, led to 4 or 5 runs. Overall, not a bad pitching performance, certainly not against a dominant UCF lineup.
And a UCF
I think they'll look to
team,
continue tonight.
I was going to say, a UCF team that has potentially College World Series aspirations coming down to the end of the season, as all teams that wear the black and gold now pretty much share.
No doubt, no doubt. And the Wildcats welcome that kind of competition on weeknights. You know, we'll see them go to Florida, Florida State. It's a gauntlet throughout the season. It's good for the team. It's good for the guys. Johnny Hernandez plays it like that on purpose, and I think we see the results all season.
We'll have Jacksonville and Stetson coming in here midweek in the coming weeks. Both of those games will be on the Cat Eye Network as well. For Longwood, they are 2-8. They started the season 0-5, dropping a triple to Mount St. Mary's, and then 2 tough games against ranked opponents, Virginia and North Carolina. Took 2 of 3 from Delaware State, and that was their only 2 wins of the season. Then right before they came here, it was a loss against number 21 North Carolina State and a loss at Liberty. Leading off for the Lancers is the third baseman, Elliott Dix. Dix, one of only 2 players on this Longwood roster to start all 10 games for them, as the starter for the Wildcats, Luis Lipthrat, deals low and inside, count 1-0, and we are underway. Under the lights at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Official start time 7:01. They're just 1 minute behind. Dix powers that one towards the alley. That is a fair ball. It got to the line and will go all the way to the wall. And I think the ball has lodged itself under the fence out there. It's going to be a ground rule double.
Cannot say I've seen that one here at the Jack, and I've seen some wild ones. You know, the turf has a tendency to do its thing. But to wedge under the wall, that's definitely a new one.
Dix, 382. I mentioned the hit streak. He's now got 14 hits. That's his 3rd double of the season, 1 homer and 8 RBIs. Batting second for the Lancers is the shortstop, Gregory Ryan. Batting third, the designated hitter, James Nelson. In the 4th spot, it's Luis De Leon at left field. The second baseman, Hayden Harris, bats 5th. Batting 6th is the first baseman, Tanner Thomas. Batting 7th, the catcher, Draven Kowalski. 8th, the right fielder, Dylan Wilkinson. And 9th, center fielder, Michael Dolberry. Defensive setup for Bethune-Cookman. It is Chun, Stevens, and Hall. It'll get left to right across the outfield. Tuero, Garcia, Olison, and Pena across the infield left to right. The battery, Escobar behind the plate. Lipthrat is the pitcher. He's 1-0 with a 3.60 ERA. 2 starts in 2 appearances. Hasn't gone the distance once. 10 innings pitched, allowed 6 runs on 7 hits, and only walked 1.
Little meeting there between Coach Jonathan Hernandez and the officiating crew, trying to talk about what exactly happened, what we do in a position like that, but looks like we're going to keep the runner at second.
I think ground rule double is fair there.
I would agree.
Lipthrat stands all the way to the left of that pitching rubber. Ryan stands in, and the right-hander deals low and outside, and the count 1-0.
Wildcats pitching staff, an exciting one to watch night to night. Starters in particular work fast, get to the plate quickly, don't shake off a lot of signs. You'll see that throughout the weekend rotation. It makes for a fun baseball game to watch.
Lipthrat's 1-0. Hadn't thrown a strike yet. There's a swing and a miss from Ryan. Ryan, the other player who have started all 10 games for the Lancers, he's got a 3.33 ERA, 6 runs on 12 hits, 10 RBIs. Lipthrat's 1-1. In there for a strike. Fastball caught the inside corner.
Another windy night here in Daytona Beach, kind of been the theme of the early season, but I guess when you come into the spring like this, there's a lot of nights like that.
Clear, windy, but a balmy 82 degrees at first pitch, and I guess if you're from Northern Virginia like the Lancers are, you'd take that over what you've got at home right now.
For those of us back here, it's just another start to a miserable, long, hot season.
Outside count 2-2. If you hear rumbling in the distance, no, that's not thunder. It is Bike Week down here in Daytona Beach. For any of you watching further afield that have not been down here for that, it's something that the locals love to hate.
I certainly am among those locals, Mike. It's not quite as bad as race week, but I do enjoy when it's over.
So We've got a lot of motorcycle enthusiasts in town. Outside corner. Batter asked for time. And the count, I believe, is 3-2. The scoreboard still says 2-2.
As the official statistician for tonight, I can confirm it is 3-2. A little multitasking here for the sports info director.
Lipthrat trying to avoid his just second walk of the season. As Gregory Ryan still is not back in the batter's box, and we don't work under the pitch clock rules that are in the MLB right now.
We do work under a version of it, but
yeah.
I'm not sure how it affects the batters. I'd have to actually look that up.
And that's a walk, only the second of the season for Lipthrat. And runners on first and second, nobody out. Tough start here for the Wildcats.
Uncharacteristic for Lipthrat, no doubt, but never got to really be fazed by the moment. We saw it a lot last year. He'd come into some situations like this, get in a little trouble early, but he's a cool guy, really a perfect Friday night starter on any ball club.
Here's the designated hitter, James Nelson. He is a left-hand hitter. Nelson, 238. 5 hits, 4 runs, 5 RBIs. He has 3 home runs, tied for the lead with Gregory Ryan. As this team can mash the ball at the top of the order. A combined 13 home runs so far on the season for the Lancers.
Saw that in UCF, another big ball club with a ton of home runs. This is a tough ballpark to hit him out, but we've seen a few thus far this season.
400 to straightaway center and 325 down the lines.
The wind will certainly help if you can manage to hit it to that right side of the field. We saw that a little bit over the weekend. Ball tends to carry out here, but still just a tough park to punch it out.
Lipthrat deals, squaring to bunt is Nelson, and he missed it. And the count 0-2. Throw down to second. Does not get the lead runner, Elliott Dix. Dix at second, Ryan at first. And as you can see the flag out there in center field, the wind really gusting left to right. Lipthrat deals way outside, trying to get Nelson to chase. Wildcats in the all-black Friday strip. Black hats, black jerseys, black pants, maroon brim on the hat. Maroon numbers with a white trim. Lipthrat goes upstairs, and it's 3-2 from 0-2. Lewis struggling with the command a little bit here early. And this is a ball club that hasn't scored a lot of runs, but has power. But they have been on the long end of some lopsided scores. A 13-9 loss to St. Mary's, 26-2 against Virginia, 10-0 against North Carolina, and 14-0 against North Carolina State. Lipthrat swing and missing is Nelson, and there's the first out of the inning. As Nelson goes down on strikes.
Certainly back to what we expect from Lipthrat there. Not a big strikeout guy, but like we said, gets outs when it matters.
And now with runners on first and second, here is Luis De Leon, the left fielder. De Leon pounds this down the left field line. That's going to go to the corner and potentially could score too. Dix scores from second. Ryan rounds third. The throw is cut off, and it is 2-0 Longwood on an RBI double by Luis De Leon down the right field line.
That ball was absolutely smoked down the line. Not much you can do about it there, just a good piece of hitting. 2-0 deficit for the Wildcats early.
2 RBI double for De Leon. I can't find him on my stat sheet, so I couldn't tell you how many RBIs he's had on the season now. But here is Hayden Harris, the second baseman, now with just 1 runner on and 2 in the inning for the Lancers. Longwood picked to finish 6th in the Big South this season, finished 8th last year in the conference. Lipthrat deal, swing and a miss. And the count 1-1. Wildcats have been undone in this first inning by two very hard hit balls down the lines, one to right, one to left. Ball just a bit outside, and it's 1-2. Dix led off with a hard double down the right field line. Ryan walked, and after a Nelson strikeout, De Leon rocketed one down the left field line, got all the way to the corner to score both of the runners on base. Swing and a miss from Harris, and he is down on strikes. Not being much of a strikeout guy, Lipthrat has two of them in the first inning, and there are two away.
Interesting matchup to watch all season. Within the Wildcats' own locker room is going to be Nolan Santos, the Saturday starter, versus Lipthrat here tonight. Lipthrat got the nod for all SWAC by the conference, whereas Santos was given the honor by perfect game.
Strike inside corner, 0-1. It's certainly a good problem to have when you've got two guys that have been rated highly by separate publications.
As good of a back-to-back as you're going to see at this level.
Pitch on the way low, and it's 1-1. Although we were talking about the Friday and Saturday starters.
Certainly don't want to lead out Mr. Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
Gaviria has been outstanding to start this year.
Complete game shutout against Purdue Fort Wayne last Sunday.
That, you talk about a fun outing to watch. Not a guy who throws hard, sits high 80s, low mid 80s, just picks his spots, gets it done.
We'll see him on Sunday against the Lancers. Here's the 2-1, swung on and rocketed out to left. Chun is there, and that is the end of the first inning as Thomas lines out to left. 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 left, and we go to the bottom of the inning. It's 2-0 Lancers right here on the Cat Eye Network. Bottom of the first, just about to get underway here from Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Michael Turillo, Bryce Hoynoski with you on this beautiful night on the east coast of Florida. Luis Tuero leads off for the Wildcats. And the starting pitcher for the Lancers, Logan Berrier, deals a ball, or strike, on the outside corner, and the count is 0-1. Tuero, 364 average and 33 at bats, and he picked this one off the end of the bat. It's going to get down the left field line. Looking for second. The umpire gets in Tuero's way, but he's still got a stand-up double on the second pitch of the inning. So the leadoff man for the Lancers got a double, and the Wildcats respond in kind with the bottom of the inning. I didn't even get a chance to fully go through his numbers, and here is the left fielder, Garrett Chun.
Ball's a double either way, but certainly took a nice hop off the turf there. High bouncing ball.
And you were talking about the wind in the first inning. That ball really held up in the wind, and the left fielder, De Leon for the Lancers, just kind of misjudged it.
Tough read to make for sure with it blowing as hard as it is.
Now, if you're watching from further afield and have not been out to Jackie Robinson Ballpark either ever or in a couple of years, you may notice the field looks a bit strange. That's because it's all turf except the pitcher's mound and the area around home plate. Strike on the outside corner, 0-2 to Chun. Chun, a 241 hitter, 29 at bats, 3 hits, 2 runs scored, no RBIs yet. Misses outside, and it's 1-2. Chun, one of those guys in there for his speed more so than his power. And he swings and misses at an upstairs fastball, and down goes Garrett. And there's 1 away.
Wildcats lineup figures to be a deep one all year in that you'll get a lot of contributions from all over. Maybe their best hitter this season has been their 9 hitter so far, so we'll see if that carries over tonight.
It always shocks me that Colton Olison ends up being in the 9 hole, but
he is a textbook 9 hitter. I mean, it's perfect what he does for this ball club.
Here's Highland Hall, a 308 hitter. 8 hits, 6 runs scored, 4 RBIs. First pitch in there for a strike from Logan Barrier, a redshirt junior from Las Vegas. All 4 of his college seasons with the Lancers. There's a strike on the inside corner, 0-2. Barrier does not dance around. He goes after hitters.
You see that a lot at this level of college ball. The major leagues need a little bit more of that. Now, I think hopefully we'll see some of that this year, but there's still a ways to go.
1-1 to Hall. Outside, 2-1. As a senior in high school, he had a 3.50 ERA to Barrier. Mostly used as a reliever before this season. Had a team best 2.87 ERA out of the bullpen last year. And the righty deals way outside. And it's 2-2. First game of the series, you really want your starters to give you 6+ good innings. You don't have to work the bullpen too hard. Hall fouls it off, and we'll do it again at 2-2.
Both Lipthread and Santos, until we go back to the Wildcats, have struggled a bit with length, and we've seen it kind of haunt the Wildcats later in the season. So we'll see how it plays out for them tonight.
This is just the middle of a really long road trip for the Lancers. That one's hit on the ground towards short. Ryan fields and fires, and there are 2 away. Here is Robert Moya. Moya second on the team in at-bats with 32. 9 hits, 3 runs scored, and 6 RBIs. Moya really crowds the plate from his right-hand hitting position, forces the pitch outside. I mentioned the Lancers on a really long road trip. They played at North Carolina State and at Liberty on Tuesday and Wednesday. Then here Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they get 1 day off before they head to the College of Charleston on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. High pop, corralled by Wilkinson, and that will do it. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We head to the second inning, 2-0 Lancers right here on the Cat Eye Network. New Jersey native Draven Kowalski leads off for the Lancers in the top of the second. Longwood has a 2-0 lead over the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats as we hit the second frame. 4-year player at Longwood in his senior season. First pitch from Lipthrat. Outside corner for a strike as Luis tries to rebound from a tough start in the first inning. That one low, and it's 1-1.
Uncharacteristic hard hit balls off of Lipthrat in the first.
Yeah, we mentioned that both teams, Dix and De Leon for the Lancers, and Luis Tuero led off with a kind of a bloop double. And the Wildcats couldn't really do anything with it after that. There's a sharp liner to short, or excuse me, to second. Olesen has it, and there's one away. And I think that's important for the Wildcats here early, to get the simple outs. There was none of that in the first inning.
The Wildcats were a team last season that thrived, not necessarily off of strikeouts, flashy plays, just firm defense, get outs, just gritty baseball. Certainly nothing wrong with that.
Olesen on the outfield turf from his second base spot. Lipthrat deals the first pitch to Dylan Wilkinson. Wilkinson, the right fielder, 182 batting average on the young season. 4 hits, 6 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Lip that from the set. Here's the 1-1. And it's downstairs. Longwood in the traditional road grays tonight. Here's the pitch. Just upstairs, and the count is 3-1. Navy pinstripes, Navy numbers, Navy Longwood across the chest for the Lancers. And in the field, our Caps have a beautiful cursive L. That one upstairs, and the second walk of the game issued by Lipthrat. Puts Wilkinson aboard with 1 out. That's kind of the sign that Lipthrat's kind of had a rough start to this game. He only walked 1 batter before the ninth.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of leash we see with Lipthrat tonight. He's gone 5 in his last 2 starts to open this season. Haven't seen him struggle like this quite yet.
Here's the 9-hole hitter, Michael Dolberry, and he swings and misses at a fastball low and away. Dolberry plays center field. 241 is his batting average. 7 hits, 3 runs scored, 5 RBIs. Lipthrat turns and tries to pick off Wilkinson at first to no avail. And I got to go back to these MLB new time rules, but the pitch clock I've seen, some consternation about. Most people are getting over it. There's a strike on the outside corner. The thing that most people can't really get over is the limited pickoffs.
That is really going to be an interesting one. And when we're talking about MLB rules, maybe the craziest thing that's happened today was in spring training today, when the Red Sox completely abandoned the no shift rule and moved an outfielder into the infield.
Strike 3, struck out Dolberry looking at a pitch low and away. Third strikeout for Lipthrat in 2 innings, and here's Elliot Dix, who led off the game with a double down the right field line and scored in the first inning. Lipthrat goes for another pickoff.
It'll also be interesting to see if we ever do get a physical pitch clock back out here that at least the audience and the crowd and us can see up here. They've been keeping time on a stopwatch since the MLB decided to borrow the physical one here.
Yep, it's down in Jupiter, I believe.
It is why the MLB has to borrow equipment, being the unbelievable money-making machine that they are, is beyond me, but...
Dix, another New Jersey native on this Longwood team from Maplewood, a redshirt junior. Swing and a miss as Lipthrat goes off speed, and the count is 1-2. A 2-time second-team All-Big South member is Elliott Dix. Led the team last season with 39 RBIs and a .341 batting average. Wilkinson leads off at first. 1-1, and Wilkinson goes. It's a pitch out, down to second, and well out on the throw is Wilkinson. No runs, no hits, none left. We go to the bottom of the second. Lancers still with a 2-0 lead right here on the Cat Eye Network. Horace Pena leads off in the bottom of the second for the Wildcats. And he swings and misses at a slider that tails away. Pena just 158 his batting average early on in the season. Only 3 hits, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs in 19 plate appearances. Takes one to the opposite dugout.
One of the very few true power hitters on the Wildcats last season. 6 homers for him, led the team, tied for the lead.
Interesting story for Pena. He began his college career here at Bethune-Cookman, left, and has come back.
You could say that same thing about several members of this team, the commitment to the program.
Ground ball up the middle, long chase for Harris, and it's going to get into center field. Base hit for Pena to lead it off. And then went away to Pena, that is, went away to Wallace Community College because BCU didn't play the 2021 season due to COVID, and that is back for the last 2 seasons. Here's Irvin Escobar. He bats 176, 3 hits, 2 runs scored, no RBIs. One aboard, nobody out here, bottom second. We have just begun the evening festivities here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. If you're still in the area and listening to us and don't mind braving the bike traffic down on Main Street, come on out and join us. And if you can't get here tonight, we've got 2 other games for you this weekend. A 6 p.m. first pitch tomorrow and a 1 p.m. first pitch on Sunday.
Spring break week.
It is
here at
indeed.
BCU.
So I know a lot of students further afield back home listening to us. Thank you for tuning in and supporting the Wildcats.
Got a great crowd out here Tuesday night. Just like to see a lot more of that here at the Jack.
1-2 to Escobar is chopped back to the pitcher. And a bullet over to first by Barrier to get Irvin out. Pena does move to second, and Malik Stevens steps into the box. Stevens mostly been used off the bench. This is only his second start. Only 7 at-bats and no statistics for Stevens.
That will not be the plan going forward. He definitely figures to be a large part of this lineup.
Strike up and away. I've noticed that the umpire behind the plate is calling those up and away to lefties, which is going to be tough, especially from a righty like Barrier. And a hard-throwing righty at that. I don't think we have a, almost said thermometer. That's not the right word.
Radar gun.
Radar gun up here. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. And usually for the Daytona Tortugas games, they have the pitch speed out in center field. I don't think we've got that one up here tonight. 1-2 to Stevens. Upstairs, 2-2.
Stevens bat leadoff for the Wildcats all season last year. Great at it. He will probably slot in towards the end of the lineup later this season, but again, not because of who he is as a hitter, but because of how deep this lineup can be.
Outside, the count runs full. Nice patience by Stevens. Foul ball. We'll do the 3-2 again. Stevens, 3 seasons at Catawba Valley Community College before transferring to BCU last year. And as you mentioned, he's no stranger to the starting lineup. Started 58 games for the Wildcats a season ago. Swing and a miss. And Stevens down on strikes. Second strikeout of the game for Barrier, and they're 2 away. Here's Jeremy Garcia, the shortstop. 3 hits, 4 runs, 2 RBIs, and a 176 batting average for Garcia to start off the season. Upstairs and away, 1-0.
Jeremy, of course,
Oh, they called that a strike, excuse me.
the brother of Matt Garcia. If he listens to these broadcasts regularly after the game, he probably hates me for bringing it up so much.
It's the one note we have on it. Line drive into center field, and that is going to get down in front of Dolberry. Coming home is Pena. He will score, and the Wildcats are on the board. It's a base hit and an RBI for Garcia.
Make
and
it
the
a double
Longwood
for Garcia.
Oh, are they going to give him a double? I thought it was. Okay,
The ball
yeah.
came in,
We'll
hit
give him a
off
double.
of Garcia. Weird play there. Cutoff man was a little unsure if he should grab it. Ended up kind of just hitting Garcia, I think in the head or maybe the bottom of his neck.
You never want to see injuries like that. And it's kind of one of those random things that happen in baseball. It was another one of those balls that I think held up in the wind and confused the Longwood outfielder, because the center fielder Dolberry looked like he had a beat on it and it just kind of dropped in front of him.
We've seen a lot of plays like that thus far in this season. I don't think the lights help anything either. The combination of the lights plus the wind just makes it a tough play. We've seen our fair share of that early.
Pena easily scored from second. Garcia stretched it to a double and then got hit by the relay throw. And that is why he is currently being attended to by the trainer.
Looks like it may have hit him in the face the way the trainer's looking at him.
Bethune-Cookman, a hot start to the season. They have not lost a series yet. 2 of 3 from Lehigh, 3 out of 3 from Purdue-Fort Wayne, and then the 2 other losses were the high major midweek contests against Florida International and UCF.
They best enjoy teams like Longwood while they can, with South Carolina on the horizon.
And Florida State on Tuesday. I've already gotten
brutal week.
I've already
Brutal
gotten
few
a
weeks.
good look at Florida State baseball this year. They played my alma mater, James Madison, to open up the season, and I watched all those games on ESPN. They got a scary team up there in Tallahassee.
They do every year. They did last year, crush the Wildcats. I believe a pair of games last year, but just part of that midweek grind, getting some reps in, seeing that high-end competition, and kind of a measuring stick for where you are and where you can be as the season goes on.
Here is Colton Olison, a man that always mystifies me why he's batting in the 9-hole.
I'll tell you from talking to Coach Hernandez about him, I figure if he had his way, he would never move out of that 9-hole. I guess we haven't seen him do it, save for maybe one game last year, I feel like I remember.
There's a strike. Olison, a .333 hitter, 9 hits, 6 runs scored, 5 RBIs. This is not a team, you said, Bryce, with a lot of power. Only 4 home runs this year, and the only multi-homer player, Sufrain, is not even in the lineup tonight.
He had both of those homers in Saturday night's game, deep out to right field, helped by some wins Saturday night as well, but he's certainly one of those power hitters. And Coach Hernandez will hope that a lot of these big additions over the offseason, whether it be Hall or Moya, will add to that.
That one might hang up in the wind as well. No. Nullberry has a beat on it to end the inning. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left, and Wildcats cut the Longwood lead in half. It's 2-1 Lancers right here on the Cat Eye Network. Top of the third here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark, motoring right along. Longwood with a 2-1 lead, and Elliot Dix back in the batter's box. He was standing in there. That is high pop behind second base. Garcia calls off the second baseman Olison and makes the catch 1 away. Elliot Dix was in the batter's box when Dylan Wilkinson was caught stealing to end the second.
Stunned to see Garcia get the call off of Olison to go through there. Olison tends to call off just about anybody within a mile radius of him. So shout out to Jeremy for making the play there.
And you think with the wind moving left to right, here's a pitch to Gregory Ryan, who walked and scored his first time up. He's way outside. You know, with the wind blowing left to right, you'd think that ball would have drifted Olison's way, but it held up. With the end result of being 1 away. Nice slider. Down and in from Lipthrat, and it's 1-1. Luis has settled down a little bit after a rocky first inning. Only technically, statistically faced 3 batters in the second inning, even though the Lancers sent 4 to the plate.
Irvin Escobar, guy behind the plate, has been excellent at throwing runners out this far this season. He has a cannon back there.
Swing and a miss. Man, Gregory Ryan swings for the fences every time he takes the bat off his shoulder. Ryan, I mentioned 333, 10 RBI, and 3 home runs. So when he makes contact, the ball flies pretty far.
That's new age baseball, 2023.
Yeah, three true outcome baseball. They call it. It's either a strikeout, a walk, or a home run. I'm not a real big fan of. And the fans here at Jackie Robinson wanted that to be called strike B, but it was just too far off the plate for the home plate umpire to give it. 3-2 now to Ryan. Ryan really stands towards the inside of the batter's box. There's a strikeout looking for Lipthrat as he catches the outside corner. 4th K of the game and the 2nd of the backwards variety for Lipthrat. Here is Nelson, the designated hitter, struck out his first time. And the first pitch outside. 1-0. Something I've noticed in the early going here, Bryce, the Longwood dugout is very vocal when they're at bat.
By far the loudest dugout we've seen to start this season. I love a good loud dugout.
I always was one of the more active ones in the dugout when I used to play.
Keeps it fun, especially
Yeah.
in the college environment. It's just adds a little extra level to it. It's always fun with their own made-up chants or whatever it be.
And you got to keep it interesting. I mean, you're playing 60 games in 3 months, essentially.
For sure, and then they spend so much time together, even more so than you'd see at pro level from day to day. Guys just inside jokes and the whole thing. It's a blast.
2-1. There's a strike. Nelson didn't think so, kind of held up his swing, but it caught the upstairs corner anyway.
Certainly looked inside from here, but tends to be a bit tough to tell before I rag on an official.
2-2, 2 out, nobody on base. Lipthrat looking for a quick half inning of work, and he tries to get Nelson to chase a flyer upstairs and away. We mentioned the upcoming schedule for the Wildcats. They go to Florida State for a one-off on Tuesday and a 3-game set with South Carolina next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Up in Columbia. Ground ball left side through the hole, and there's a base hit for Nelson. And they were trying to play the pull game with the shortstop behind second base, and Nelson just choked up on the bat and hit it the other way.
When they're making contact against Lipthrat, it's hard contact. Ball didn't go very far, just the trajectory to the ground, but another hard hit ball.
Here's Luis De Leon, doubled down the left field line his first time up and had the 2-run RBI double. Outside 1-0. You'll hear from us at the Cat-Eye Network after this weekend back at Jackie Robinson Ballpark, March 14th through, we've got a long homestand, March 14th through April 2nd, as the Cats play 9, 10, 11 games at home in a row.
Structuring the schedule that way, when the Tortugas start to come poking around again come that time of year, they'll spend nearly the entire month of April on the road just to avoid having to play at a nearby municipal park like they did last year.
I remember when I was out there for a couple of games last year. Line drive up the middle for De Leon. There's a base hit. Stevens fires in but cannot keep Nelson from going to third, so runners on the corners with 2 down. And a 2-hit outing already for De Leon.
Like you said, Mike, top of the order here for Longwood. Getting it done early here.
Top 4 batters in the order for Longwood have a combined 4 hits.
That would be all of Longwood's hits.
And then 5 on base. The only player that has gotten on base that's not in the top 4 of the order was Wilkinson in the last inning, and then he was caught stealing after a walk. Lipthrat downstairs 1-0. And Luis is going to have to pull out a little bit of a Houdini act to get out of this one and preserve just the 2-1 deficit for the Wildcats.
59 pitches for him already. Had to work hard.
Might not be a long inning for Luis. He tries to pick off at first, and a nice flashy glove by Pena to stop that one from going to the Longwood dugout.
Guys have played a ton of games at first base. Split a handful of time there last year. More so to just get his bat in the lineup, so it's interesting to see a play like that.
Yeah. We saw him platoon as designated hitter a bunch last year. But tonight playing first. Lipthrat deals. There's a strike on the outside. But yeah, that long homestand includes the first 3 SWAC series. Alabama State, Mississippi Valley State, and Florida A&M, and sandwiched between them are 3 games against Florida opposition that you won't want to miss. Here's Lipthrat's pitch, low and inside, 2-1. March 14th against Jacksonville, March 21st against cross-county rival Stetson, and then March 28th against the ever-present Bulls of South Florida. So some tough teams coming to the Jack in the next month or so. Fouled back by Hayden Harris. Harris struck out his first time up. And he has James Nelson 90 feet away from increasing the Lancer lead. And I think we have a violation of the pitch clock.
Pitch clock. It almost looked like he was talking to the batter, but have to go against the pitcher, seeing the count is 2-2.
2-2 count. Swung on, hit high in the air to right, not deep. Hall under it, makes the catch, and the Wildcats get away with one. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left at the end of 3.5. Still 2-1 Longwood right here on the Cat Eye Network. Back at the Jack for Wildcats baseball. It's 2-1 to the Lancers of Longwood as we hit the bottom of the third. Jonathan Hernandez's club searching for some answers on offense. Boris Pena provided them partially in the second inning with a leadoff base hit, and then he scored on the Garcia double.
Only left 2 on base thus far. That's kind of been what's haunted them early in this season. 2 in scoring position.
Top of the order for the Wildcats, Luis Tuero doubled his first time up, but was stranded by 3 straight outs by Chun, Hall, and Moya. The dichotomy of these rosters, the top 4 for Longwood has all the bats, and then the Wildcats roster is pretty deep, but you really think the heart of the order is, Moya, Pena, Escobar, Olesen, and they're in your bottom half of the order.
It is interesting. Most of the big hitters from the Wildcats last season, whether it be Pena or Stevens or the like, have kind of all slotted in the bottom of the order. It's credit to the guys that Hernandez believes in, the new ads.
Count 3-1 as that one got away from Barrier. Ooh, there's a strike on the inside corner. Tuero tried to sell it by backing out of the way, but I do think that clipped the inside of the plate. 3-2, full count. Swung on line to left field. There's a base hit. Tuero puts bat on the ball and has his second hit of the contest. Now, something I remember from last year, Price, being around this team, the limited capacity that I was, the team was all about Buc-ee's. That was the big thing, and every time somebody scored, it would be fresh brisket on the board. I didn't hear it when Pena scored last inning.
It's funny you say that, because most of last year's roster had never been to Buc-ee's come that first road trip of the year. They were stunned and blown away by what they saw. Then from there, it just turned into a season-wide, had to go to Buc-ee's every time you're on the road, hit them with the fresh brisket on the board every time they score. I guess we're turning the page from last year, which is a little sad. But
that made me laugh a little bit every time I heard it.
A little cheesy, but I'll give it to him. It did play.
Here's Garrett Chun, lays down the bunt. Racing in from third is Dix to throw him out, but he does his job, moves the runner over. And now Highland Hall grounded out to the shortstop his first time up. Chun struck out his first time up, by the way. Hall made the catch in right field to end the last inning. Wildcats trying to tie this game up, down 2-1 with the potential tying run on second in the form of Luis Tuero.
Hall, the Washington State transfer. He's going to be a huge part of the Wildcats' offensive attack all season. Started a little slow to the season, just kind of come on strong in the last weekend or so.
That ball's in the dirt, and it took a bad bounce away from Kowalski. If that ball skips to the left or right, I think Tuero takes third, but it popped right back out in front of the catcher.
Wildcats have not nearly been the base stealing team that they were to start last season.
Hall takes a pitch low, 3-0. Barrier losing his command a little bit. Has walked 6 coming into the game, has not issued a free pass yet tonight. And he gets the call on the outside corner, 3-1. Hall taken all the way.
Looked a little high from up here, but not so, says the home plate official.
To be fair, we don't have a great angle. We are essentially looking at the field from exactly where the camera is. Shot foul at home plate by Hall, and the count runs full. Shot foul just over Hernandez's head in the box. Hernandez beginning his 6th season here as the head coach of Bethune-Cookman University.
Crossed the 50-win mark last season, which is important I distinguish. It wasn't full seasons.
Nice sliding stop at first by Thomas. Throws to the pitcher. Barrier to get the outs. So that'll go 3-1. But it does move Tuero to third, and now Robert Moya comes in with a chance to tie the game. The tying run 90 feet away. Moya popped out to right his first time up. Moya been kind of an RBI machine, second on the team, tied second with 6 RBIs. He's tied with Jeremiah Guzman for that stat. And if he gets this one, he would move into a tie for first with Tuero for 7 RBIs. The 0-1 swung on and line to center field. That is going to be caught by Dolberry to end the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 left. We head to the 4th inning. Lancers still with a 2-1 advantage. Back at the Jack for Wildcats baseball, and not many a better view you will find on a baseball diamond. You have the college level, got the beautiful International Speedway Bridge and News Journal Center in the background, and across the Tomoka River, the world-famous Daytona Beach. Tanner Thomas leads off, flied out to left field his first time up. Inside and high, 1-0 from Lipthrout, who works into the 3rd inning. His pitch count's a bit elevated, though.
Up to 65 thus far. Again, hasn't made it past 5 innings to start this season.
There's a strike, and I don't know. I don't think, unless we get some very quick 1, 2, 3 innings here, I don't think we'll make it past 5 in this game, too. But
interesting to see who the first guy out of the pen will be tonight. Perez did some work on Tuesday.
You don't want to stretch your bullpen too thin first game of a 4-game series. Or excuse me, a 3-game series, and then going up to play some high major schools next week. Lipthrat deals. There's a strike outside corner. 2-2.
Coach Hernandez has really talked early in the season a lot about how the key for success early on is going to be length out of Louis and out of no one.
Ground ball, right-hand side, sliding in the outfield and throwing the runner out at first is Colton Olesen.
Olesen's a rock star out there at second base. Drawing some Dustin Pedroia comparisons from his head coach. Even if he's not swinging the bat as well as he has been, he provides some outstanding defense out there. Nothing's getting through that hole.
Here's the catcher, Draven Kowalski, grounded out to second his first time. Kowalski fouls that one off. Draven only playing in his 4th game of the season. They've all been starts. But there is nobody up and throwing for either bullpen right now as we're in the top of the 4th. And there's a strikeout by Lipthrat. Another one looking, his 3rd reverse K of the ball game, and there are 2 away. Up to 5 strikeouts for Lipthrat, a man who you at the beginning of the broadcast, Bryce, called not a strikeout guy.
That one's on me, Mike. Coming for tonight, I guess.
You know what? If that's the reverse jinx we're gonna get, I'll take it. As Dylan Wilkinson fouls one back into the plaza area behind the stands. Wilkinson walked his first time and then was caught stealing to end the 2nd inning. Pitched low, 1-1. Lipthrat deals. Swung on and fouled in the exact same place that the first one was, and it's 1-2. Lipthrat comes to us from Dublin, Ohio, a 4-year letter winner at Dublin Scioto High School. And then via the junior college ranks at Earlham College and Clark State. That's a large liner to deep right center. On the run is Stevens, and he makes the catch. 1, 2, 3, go the Lancers. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Wildcats still trail by 1. Boris Pena, who has the lone run for the Wildcats tonight, leads off. He singled and scored on the Garcia double back in the 2nd. First pitch from Barrier, way outside. The count 1-0. What's the pitch count on Barrier right now?
He's sitting at 51 right now. Fairly efficient. Helped out by some swings from the Wildcats.
Wildcats have been swinging early in counts. Pena takes a strike inside, and 1-1. Ground ball and perfectly positioned is Wilkinson for the out. There's 1 away. Second base play has been pretty darn good all around.
Number 22, Urban Escobar.
Here is Escobar. Bunted Pena along. And his first at bat, this time he chops it down the third base line. That might be trouble. Throwing off his back foot is Barrier, and the throw is not in time. So give an infield single to Irvin Escobar. Talk about swinging early in the count. That was first pitch swinging.
Showing off some wheels for Escobar. Tough play for the pitcher, but he got down the line.
I think he would have been safe regardless because he pulled Thomas off the bag at first. Here's Malik Stevens, struck out in the second inning. And that one is bounced to the plate. We saw Barrier kind of lose a little bit of command towards the end of the third inning. Didn't walk anybody, but went deep in some counts. There were, in the early part of the game, he was not doing. And he way inside, forcing Stevens to jump back. Longwood in the middle of 7 straight on the road. And that's the team's second longest road trip of the year. Strike to Stevens, and the count 2-1. And this is the furthest by mileage that the Lancers will travel away from Farmville, Virginia this year. Ground ball third baseline, just foul outside third base.
Really? No further than down here from Virginia, huh?
Yeah.
Always fun to see a lot of these northern teams come down here early in the season, escape some of that cold. Virginia not quite getting as hammered as some other places that we've seen stop by, but
Purdue, Fort Wayne. I wouldn't want to be in Indiana right now.
They are getting as far away from that weather as they can.
And that's why, like, the Clearwater Invitational in softball is so popular, and a lot of baseball teams go to a lot of early season tournaments, Florida, Georgia, Texas.
It's always interesting to see how that travel, how that change affects everybody differently. Kind of coming down here to thaw out a little bit, and some slow starts, but usually about this time of season, people are starting to pick it up and find their stride.
Another 3-2 count for Barrier, and it's chopped foul by Stevens. Will do it again. And a lot of times, if you're in the Midwest or the Northeast, you do a lot of your off-season training indoors, in indoor hitting facilities and the like, and it's a little bit of a transition coming back to hitting outdoors. And, you know, when I used to play baseball and soccer growing up, we'd love to see. Oh, there's a strikeout looking by Stevens, and he does not agree. Hold on.
He's staying in the box.
I think we have a balk because Irvin Escobar has moved to second. So the umpire in the field called a balk against Barrier, and so Stevens is still alive.
I thought it was a 3-2 count.
It was a 3-2 count. That's why I'm shocked.
Would that not put him on first?
little weird one here. It's still 3-2 to Malik Stevens, and we'll get the third attempt at the full count pitch from Barrier. Up, oh, this time he does get struck out looking. Now 2 away with Escobar on second. Here's Jeremy Garcia. Garcia has the lone RBI for the Wildcats tonight. Drove in Pena with a double in the second inning, and we'd like him to do the exact same thing this time up, please, Jeremy. Jeremy very far back of the box. A little bit of a change up for a strike from Barrier. I mentioned earlier in the inning, before things got a little weird, that this is the second longest road trip for the Lancers. Pop foul behind the plate for Garcia, and he's down to his last. The Cats are down to their last strike of the inning. Longest road trip for the Lancers, an 8-game venture that sees them go to back-to-back conference trips on the road to Gardner-Webb and UNC Asheville, and then midweek trips to VCU and Richmond in-state. Those are tough trips, both to the city of Richmond. VCU traditionally strong. Virginia Commonwealth University. This one grounded softly to second. Wilkerson first, and that'll end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Wildcats still with a 1-0 deficit right here on the Cat Eye Network. Second-year head coach Chad Oxendine strolls out to his position at the third base coach's box as have I messed up somewhere? I don't have a 13 on my roster. Excuse me, that's Dolberry. Dolberry stands in. I had him down as 14. Dolberry struck out looking his first time up. Oxendine. Oh, excuse me. We do have a pitch hitter in the 9-hole for the Lancers. This is Quincy Cepillo. And Cepillo drills this one hard out to left. It's over the head of Chun and to the wall. Cepillo rounding second. He holds there. And it's a lead-off double for him. Cepillo only a 130 hitter. 3 runs on 3 hits. No RBIs, and he stands on second. And that brings back the top of the order with Elliott Dix. Doubled and scored his first time up, and then popped out to the shortstop. Lipthrat deals a changeup cut on and missed by Dix. I mentioned Chad Oxendine, head coach of the Lancers in his second season. This is his first collegiate head coaching gig, but he has been everywhere as an assistant coach, from the minor leagues to every level of college baseball. Lipthrat comes inside 1-1. Richmond, Alabama, UNC Wilmington, his alma mater, Coastal Carolina, and now Longwood at the collegiate level, and then a short stint with the Myrtle Beach Pelicans as a hitting coach for single A. Lipthrat inside again, and it's 2-1. Dix leads the team with a .382 batting average. And he chops this one foul, a little bit behind it as Lipthrat corked in a fastball. Count holds 2-2. Swung on and hammered out to right field and deep. Back goes Hall, track, and he makes the catch with his heels against the wall. Elliott Dix missed his second home run of the season by about 2 feet. It's a loud out, but it does move the runner to third.
Hall tracked that one all the way. Nice play from him there.
Now here's Gregory Ryan, walked and scored in the first, struck out looking in the third. And he's got Scipio 90 feet away with run out in the 5th. Outside corner strike from Lipthrat. So if trends are to be believed, this will be the last inning of work for Luis.
No one warming yet, but
0-1 for Lipthrat. Lined into left field. That's a base hit. It'll score a run. Digging for second is Gregory. He'll get there safely. It's an RBI double for Gregory Ryan, and it is 3-1 Lancers. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see someone in black and maroon start to warm up in short order. Here's James Nelson. Struck out his first time. Singled his second time, got all the way to third before he was stranded there. Lipthrat deals. Chop to second. Olesen on the outfield grass fires for the second out. But that does move Ryan to third, so another runner in dangerous position for Longwood. And then here is the big hitter from the first inning, De Leon, with the 2 RBI double. He has 2 hits tonight, singled in the third and was stranded on first. Nice job by Escobar to prevent that low pitch from getting to the backstop. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Way outside as it's 2-1. Thank you to the almost 100 people tuned into the Cat Eye Network tonight. We really appreciate you. Big cut and miss at a ball in the dirt.
Certainly appreciate everybody hanging in as we continue to kind of build up what we're going to make of this broadcast this year. A lot of new equipment, new faces, new things. A little short staff today with some softball tournaments on the other side of the state, making it
Swing and a miss. It's strikeout number 6 for Lipthrat, but 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. And at the end of 4.5, it's 3-1 Lancers. Wildcats looking for some answers on offense when we come back.
Number 2.
9-hole hitter Colton Olesen leads off for the Wildcats. Had a loud out in the second inning that unfortunately stranded Jeremy Garcia at second. First pitch swinging, popped it way up into foul territory, and it's not caught. Thomas went over there, and I think he lost it in the lights, and the ball landed about 5 feet behind him.
looked like he thought maybe he was going to tick the net there, but just squeaks inside of it. Tough play to make.
Little let off for Olesen. We talked about Longwood and the long ball. They have 12 home runs on the season. That's tied for second in the Big South. Downstairs, 1-1. High Point has 13 long balls to lead the conference, and then the Lancers are tied with the Spartans of USC Upstate with 12. Olesen to third, foul ball. And I think a let-off again for Olesen, as he might have been out at first, if that would have stayed fair. Lancers with a 3-1 lead here in the bottom of the fifth. In the first ever meeting between Longwood and Bethune-Cookman on the diamond, which kind of shocked me when I read that stat this morning.
Purdue Fort Wayne, also the first time the Wildcats saw them. Some new faces here in Daytona Beach to start the season.
That's what we like. As much as we love seeing our Sunshine State compatriots, it's good to get some fresh blood in here every once in a while.
Good for them as well. See what they're missing out on. Some great baseball down here in the state of Florida.
2-2 to Olesen. Outside 3-2. Sparse crowd out here at the Jack tonight. It is a Friday in the middle of bike week. A lot of other entertaining activities going around. That ball is popped straight up into the air and over the back of the press box. Every time a ball goes straight up like that and you're in a metal press box like that, you kind of cringe.
A little bit.
Waiting for the bump.
If you get a true firmly hit ball, the press box will shake a little bit, or maybe that's just because people are getting startled a little bit.
Olison up the middle. There's a base hit as Ryan couldn't corral it. Colton hangs in there, and with an 8-pitch at bat, if I'm not mistaken, gets a base hit, his first of the game, and brings up Tuero for the top of the order. Luis has been unlucky today. He has a double and a single in 2 at-bats, but has been stranded both times. Tuero second on the team in batting average and first on the team in batting average, and those who have played all 9 games for the Wildcats. He drills that one through the right side. There's a base hit. Holding on at second it is Olison, and the Wildcats are in business. 2 on, nobody out.
Colton Olison doing what Colton Olison does. Little piece of clutch hitting. Trying to keep this little rally going for the Wildcats. Getting on base, setting things up for the top of the order.
And Tuero quietly 3 for 3 tonight. Here's Garrett Chun, struck out and sacrifice bunted, and he's going to try to do the same thing again. He will be called for the strike as he missed the ball. Bear with us a little bit up here as we're still trying to catch up on some live stats.
That would be the multitasker himself right here.
Which is why...
Been a little quiet.
Yeah, well, that's another beautiful sacrifice bunt. No play at first for Barrier. Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Always get a little disheartened when a guy at the top of the order shows bunt, but when you're going to lay him down like that, why not? Bases
3
juiced.
straight base hits. And the bases are loaded for Highland Hall, and a chance to really get back into this one. Hall has grounded out twice. Once to the shortstop and once to the first baseman. We'll have a meeting on the mound here as the Lancers infield wants to talk over how they're going to play this. Personally, if I was in Coach Oxendine's shoes, I would bring the corners in and then have the outfielders play shallow just to try and catch somebody at home plate on a ground ball.
Certainly going to stick with this guy here. Activity in both pens.
Yeah, and because the bullpens are straight down the lines and the pitchers are warming up perpendicular to us, we cannot really see who is warming up.
Oh, Mike, I beg to differ. It's number 31, Garcia Guillermo for Longwood.
Oh, you've got the... See, I'm wearing glasses. You've still got the better eyesight than me.
Looks like maybe Darius York for the Wildcats, but hard to tell with the black unis.
We will get there when we get there, but right now it is Highland Hall, the Washington State transfer, with a huge opportunity here. Pivotal moment in the ball game. Wildcats down 3-1, bases loaded, nobody out here in the 5th. And that ball almost skipped to the backstop. Nice job by Kowalski to corral it off his knee. Now the Wildcats dugout chirping a little bit. Most of the noise we've heard tonight has come from the Lancers bench. It's big swing and miss from Hall, and the count is 0-2.
The gravelly voice you hear is Dale Machad, reliever. That's kind of been his shtick over the last couple of years.
We will probably see Machad, if not tonight, then this weekend. Seems to feature in
Wildcats bullpen, no doubt.
Yeah, he seems to feature in every series, at least once. 0-2 to Hall. Barrier with the big advantage here. He winds and fires out of the stretch, and it's fouled back. The ball gets to the screen. Actually, that was not a foul. It was a wild pitch. And scoring from third is Olison. I thought that Hall made contact.
It certainly sounded like he did from up here, but it doesn't seem like we're getting any questions from coaches or the officials.
So score a wild pitch. Now, Why isn't Hall out? He definitely swung at that. But the count still holds 0-2. Olesen has scored, and it's 3-2 Lancers.
Only thing I can think of is a mistake on the board for the count, but a little perplexed too.
Outside 1-2, but Stevens, or excuse me, Hall, whatever the case may be, hangs in there. Second time we've been confused by an umpire decision tonight.
I will avoid saying anything about the officials for everybody's sake out here.
You have a lot more restraint than my my basketball broadcast partner.
The SWAC features some. They certainly have umpires. There's no doubt about that.
So now the umpires see. Coach Oxendine is now out to argue because he agrees with me that it should have been a strikeout for Stevens. The umpire behind the plate says he has 3 and 1.
It's kind of impossible to
3 and 1, but Stevens had
fathom how we got here.
Stevens had 0 and 2. The count was 0 and 2 to Stevens. He swung on and missed at a wild pitch that went to the fence. Olesen scored. That's really the only thing we can be sure about.
At least for now. Find it hard to believe they'd call him back now, but
and now the home plate umpire says the count is 3 and 1. So everybody's a little bit confused.
They're confused. We're confused. 2 and 2 is your count now.
We just had to ask. Somebody asked us what the count was.
Everybody, press box, board, music. Nobody really knows what's going on, but that's SWAC baseball sometimes.
2-2 to Malik Stevens. Second and third. Still nobody out. Stevens still with a big opportunity to break this game open here. And he hammers one foul outside of first. Just couldn't catch up to the fastball outside. And you got to think, we've seen Barrier be a little bit wild in his command in the last 2 innings, used out of the pen mostly in his first 3 college seasons. You'd think the arm may be getting a little bit tired. Barrier swings and misses from Highland Hall. That was a massive cut. But in the end, he gets nothing but air, and that is the 4th strikeout for Barrier. And now Robert Moya, 2 on, 1 out. Moya has popped out twice to the outfield, once to right and once to center. And they're going to give Moya the free pass on the intentional walk.
Interesting play there, but Pena and Escobar have yet to find their footing at the plate here, yet to start the season, so pretty clear logic there.
Pena scored the first run for the Wildcats back in the second. He singled and then scored on the double by Garcia. I'll turn the ambient noise down a little bit as we got a fire truck going by the field. Pena drills one to the left side, and that's going to get to the left fielder. 1 run scores. Here comes Chun. He scores. It's a 2-run single for Boris Pena, and the game is tied at 4.
Probably no better,
3.
probably no better feeling down there on the field than first pitch swinging, making the guy regret his decision for the intentional walk to face Pena, makes him pay.
Well, I have ended up with egg all over my face because I said the wrong score not once, but twice.
Happens to the best of us, Mike. You know it's been that kind of night here at Jackie Robinson.
So let's clear things up. On the RBI single for Boris Pena, Tuero scored, Chun scored, Olesen scored earlier in the inning on a wild pitch. It is 4-3. Wildcats have the lead. Poked off the end of the bat by Escobar to right field. Wilkinson gathers it in. And by the time we can catch our breath, there are 2 away, and here's Malik Stevens. Stevens has been struck out twice, once swinging, once looking. So let's recap. It is 4-3 Wildcats, 3 runs in the inning. Olesen, Tuero, and Chun have all scored, and there are runners on first and second. Moya at second after the intentional walk. Pena at first after the 2-run single. And here is Stevens looking to unbrick his hand, to use a card game reference. It's really slow start to the night for Stevens.
It's tough when you're coming in primarily out of the pinch hitting spot, seeing, one plate appearance a night.
No.
It's certainly hard to get going when there's no rhythm to your game.
No hits on the season yet for Stevens. Would love one here, and he is going to get one as that one goes over the shortstop Harris's head. Trying to score from second and coming in without a throw is Moya. Pena advances to third. It's a base hit and an RBI single for Stevens, and the Wildcats have a 5-3 lead.
That's the kind of base hit to start off a season there. Not the prettiest thing, but at the end of the day, it goes into the book as a single to center, single to right, depending on how you judge it.
And Garcia up as the 9th batter in the inning. So the Cats one batter from batting around here, as they have put 4 runs across in the frame, and what looked like a pretty dire situation for the Wildcats has turned around just like that.
For a team that struggled with leaving so many men on base, to get a handful across still midway through the game is big.
Outside, 1-1. Can kind of see Barrier fading a little bit over the last few innings, and it's really kind of come back to bite him this inning. He's been leaving him across the plate. Swing and a miss. Runner goes to second. He is out. Malik Stevens caught stealing to end the threat, but the Wildcats get 4 runs on 5 hits, no errors, and they leave 2 aboard. The Wildcats have taken the lead. We go to the 6th. It's Bethune-Cookman 5, Longwood 3, right here on the Cat Eye Network. Longwood has gone from up 3-1 to down 5-3 as they try to recover with Hayden Harris. Harris laces that one into deep center field. Going back, it's over the head of Stevens and against the wall. Nobody covering second base, but Hayden Harris, who was the leadoff hitter, will not attempt to go.
Long single there for
Very
Harris.
long single. That's
almost a spectacular play from Stevens to make the play in center. I think it hit off of his glove, but I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be stretching for second there. At the very worst, he makes the play and you go back to the dugout. But if it gets down,
398-foot single.
Just kind of strange
for Hayden Harris. Harris, to this point in the game, had struck out in the first and popped out to center in the third. But he is not one for lack of power. 30 at-bats before tonight. 7 hits, 5 runs, 1 homer, 3 RBIs.
Trainer came out to check
on Malik.
Stevens, the quick fall out there, but she didn't make it all the way out before he waved her off. All good.
So another leadoff hit. Third of the game for Longwood, and the Wildcats have been king of the leadoff hit in this game. 4 out of the 5 innings the leadoff man has got on. Another ball hit hard out to right center. Stevens tracking it back. Track, wall, see ya. A 2-run shot for Tanner Thomas, and this game is tied.
But the wind shifting, blowing right out to right center. Ball just carried and carried. Did not look like much off the bat. It just barely squeaked over the wall. Tie game.
First home run of the year for Tanner Thomas and only the 4th hit. He was only batting 143 before the ninth, and that'll be the end for Luis Lipthrat as Jonathan Hernandez comes out to give his start of the hook. Longest start of the season for Lipthrat. Did he get over 100 pitches? It was probably close.
He was close. High 90s. Pitch count's a little off after some play edits here for your statistician tonight, but based on his trajectory, he did crack the high 90s.
Well, it's time for the first pitching change of the game. Maybe in the future the pitching change will be brought to you by somebody, but right now it is currently not.
Remains vacant. Looks like Darius York.
Darius York will enter the game. This is his 3rd appearance of the season. He's 1-0 with a save and a 4.50 ERA, an eventful start.
Quietly been a bigger piece of the Wildcats bullpen after a mop-up guy last season. But it'll be interesting to see in moments like this, pressure moments, what his off-season work has meant and what kind of arm he could be for the Wildcats this year.
So York comes on to pitch, the right-hand thrower. With the Wildcats and the Lancers tied at 5 in the first game ever between these two programs. We've played an hour and a half of baseball, and we are sitting pretty in the top of the 6th inning.
No better time than now, Mike, to talk about a big call for you tomorrow. A little Wildcats basketball. Pivotal game.
Pivotal games, both of them.
The seasons of both men's and women's, and wouldn't you know it, sports has a funny way of all ending up on the same page at the end of the year. It'll be rival FAMU win and get in playoff scenario for both teams at Moore Gymnasium. Probably can't imagine a better end to the season.
Yeah, it's been a tough couple of weeks for the women's team. There was a time when we thought, man, these girls are going to cruise to the end. They're going to be the number 2 seed, and you know.
Went from 3 down to 8 in a weekend and a half.
And maybe I'm not sure we can rise higher than 8. So it'll be Jackson State in the first round for the Wildcats if they do get there. 2 runs in the inning, and York, the pitcher. We'll get you a final line score on Lipthrat momentarily. The 0-1 is upstairs. The batter is Draven Kowalski, the catcher. Grounded to second and struck out in the 2nd and 4th, respectively. York's 1-1. York has a much different delivery than Lipthrat. Lipthrat, kind of lazy, molasses-esque, comes to the plate sidearm. York just goes straight at you. Over the top fastballs. He's got Kowalski in a 1-2 count. This time a breaking ball misses upstairs.
Guy that York that struggled last year. Again, just time towards the end of games, just getting some reps out there. Coach Hernandez has gone to him early.
Ground ball down the right field line. It's a 3rd hit in a row for the Lancers, and this one's going to be extra bases. Stand-up double for Kowalski, and the Lancers have responded brilliantly to going behind after the Wildcat 4 spot in the bottom of the 5th. And their first 3 have hit. The base hit by Harris, the home run by Thomas, and now the double by Kowalski. And here's Wilkinson.
9 hits for Longwood, 10 for the Wildcats. No shortage of offense here to start off a season, or series, I should say.
We had a ton of that not so much against Lehigh, but against Purdue-Fort Wayne, some very high-scoring games. Fastball misses inside from York. The Wildcats swept that series 9-5, 7-4, and then 10-0, the outlier on Sunday. That was the brilliant performance by Rivera.
Clicking on all cylinders last weekend with the Wildcats.
Here's the 1-0 from York. Bunted straight back to him. Darius fields and fires, and he is out at first, is Wilkinson. Moves the runner to third. First out of the inning. The sac bunt does its job, and so keeping his place in the lineup is Quincy Scipio. Scipio came in to pinch hit for the center fielder Dolberry, and I'm guessing he is out there in center now too. And did about as well as you can with his first plate appearance, doubled, and then scored on the RBI double by Gregory Ryan. At the time, that gave the Lancers a 3-1 lead. Outside 2-0 from York, who has struggled a little bit with command early on in his stint tonight. 0-2. High in the air, and that'll just barely clear the infield. Olesen with one hand makes the catch and then stares down Kowalski at third to keep him there. 2 away. Really important for York and the rest of the Wildcats defense to get out of this one, with the game still at 5-5. Top of the order, Elliott Dix. Doubled and scored in his first time up, and then has popped to short and to center his next 2 times up. That ball is bounced to the plate cricket style by York. He does kind of have that cricket overhand style delivery like a fast bowler does.
Just hope it doesn't end up looking like it does when it gets to the plate. Well, he's in for a rough night.
Unlike our sister sport from across the pond, there's no running start. But a running start from third is Kowalski as he trots home on Dix's base hit. And it is 6-5 Lancers. The offenses have opened up. It's raining runs here at Jackie Robinson, as a 4 spot for the Wildcats in the 5th has been responded to by 3 runs in the 6th by Longwood, and they retake the lead 6-5.
Activity continues in the BCU bullpen. Looks like Dale Machad down there. Maybe another arm down there starting to get loose.
Pickoff attempt at first. Dick slides back in safely. The batter is James Nelson. Walked and scored in the first, struck out looking in the third, doubled and was stranded on third in the 5th. So this is his 2nd straight inning with a plate appearance. Correction, this is Gregory Ryan at the plate. But those stats still stand. Another pickoff attempt from York, and he throws the ball so hard, wouldn't be surprised if he catches somebody out over there at first base. Ryan, a redshirt senior from North Chesterfield, Virginia. And the 0-1 to him is upstairs 2-0.
York here, when he's missing the plate, they're tough pitches to commit on if you're a hitter. Needs to give him something to swing at.
1 season at Virginia Commonwealth before transferring to Longwood for Ryan. High pop, losing the hat, but hanging on to the ball is Hall, and that'll retire the side. But the Wildcats do get, or the Lancers get back at the Wildcats. They score 3 runs on 4 hits with 1 left. And at the end of 5 1/2, it's 6-5 Longwood. here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. New pitcher on the hill for the Longwood Lancers as we begin the bottom of the 6th inning. It is Guillermo Garcia Jr. He's thrown 3 1/3, 5.40 ERA. He's 0-1. This is his 4th appearance of the season. He's given up 4 hits, 5 runs, 2 earned, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And leading off the inning for the Wildcats, just like the back end of the last inning, is Jeremy Garcia. He was standing at home plate when Malik Stevens was caught stealing to end the frame. Garcia swings and misses at a fastball outside, the count 1-1. Jeremy trying to start this inning just like Colton Olison did last inning for the Cats. It led to a 4-run frame for Bethune-Cookman. There's a strike inside corner that Garcia did not agree with, and it is 1-2.
Final line for Barrier, 5 innings pitched, 10 hits, 5 runs, all earned, a walk, and 4 strikeouts.
2-2 to Garcia. There's Jeremy Garcia at the plate, and Guillermo Garcia on the mound as Jeremy fouls this one off. Guillermo is actually from the Sunshine State. He's a redshirt junior from Palm Beach, Florida, played at Palm Beach Central High School. Low and outside, count runs full to Jeremy.
As this night progresses for Longwood, it's on me for making it this long. We don't talk about the closer for Longwood, was on the Wildcats last season.
Line shot down the left field line. That's going to get down for a base hit, potentially more. And Garcia was on his horse, but the coaching staff call him back to the first base bag. And it is a leadoff single. 1-2. 4th leadoff batter aboard for the Wildcats in the ball game out of 6 innings.
Probably a good call to hold up Jeremy there. Just such a hard hit ball. It was coming in hot back from the left fielder. So he'll settle for a single.
And here is Olison, singled and scored in the last inning on a wild pitch. Third baseman playing well in. Olison hammers this one out to center field, but it is not deep enough to leave the yard, and Scipio makes the catch, and there's one away.
Another first pitch swinging for the Wildcats. We've seen a lot of those, clearly in attack mode all night long. Hasn't quite gone their way, but then again, with 5 runs on the board, it's worked out its fair share at times.
So Olison has flied to center, hit a base hit to center, and flied to center.
Seeing the ball well right up the middle tonight.
Top of the order, here's Truero. Singled and scored last inning, as did Olison and Chun. This time he fouls it off, first pitch swinging.
As I mentioned, Brenton Fisher, Wildcats closer, all SWAC last year, transferred to Longwood in the offseason. A little bit closer to home for him. Not quite home, but from around the area.
Right now he has 3 appearances, does Fisher. He's 1-2 with a 27 ERA.
Struggled his first few outings. I believe this last weekend of play, he settled things down a bit.
Well, and I mentioned way earlier in the week that the Lancers have been on the wrong end of some tough decisions. 26-2 against Virginia, 13 runs given up against Mount St. Mary's, 12 against Delaware State, 14 against North Carolina State. So it's not hard to see why some of these back-end rotation guys have very high ERAs for Longwood. That'll even itself out as they get into Big South Conference play. 0-1. And Tuero swings and hits it high in the air on the infield. Backing up is Ryan to make the catch, and there are 2 away.
Not sure if he was going for style or if it got away from him there, but had to kind of make a underhanded grab of that one. Could have maybe struggled with the lights in a little bit, but it's an out either way.
First time Tuero has failed to reach base tonight, having doubled, singled, and singled in the game previously. Now here is Garrett Chun. Singled and scored last time up. 2 down, runner at first. Longwood with a 1-run lead, and it's off the end of the bat and foul. We've had a lot. We've put a fair few balls into the Tomoka River this evening.
There's a fair few out there already, a graveyard of baseballs. It's untelling how many are down in there.
They've been playing baseball on this very diamond for over 100 years.
It's a great history in the river out there.
Yep. Lots of minor league baseball teams have called this park home, from the original Ormond Beach City Islanders, as we are on what is officially known as City Island out in the middle of the Tomoka River, to the Daytona Cubs of the 90s and 2000s, the Tortugas of the present day, the Dodgers of the middle 1900s with Jackie Robinson in tow.
And as of last week, we had the Savannah Bananas call it home for
the second straight year
contests last week.
I've still not gotten out to a Bananas game.
It is something else, let me tell you.
That one up in the zone and hit very high. This will be a tough play for Scipio, but he does get under it and make the catch. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We go to the 7th. Wildcats down 6-5. Darius York back out for his second inning of work with the Wildcats. We are at Jackie Robinson Ballpark in a beautiful late November. What time of year? Late February Friday night. First pitch from York is low to James Nelson. Michael Cervello and Bryce Hoynoski on the headsets for you tonight. The Cat Eye Network will be streaming the last 2 games of the series tomorrow and Sunday, but no plans for commentary.
Tough weekend for us, staffing wise. A lot of crossover season things going on, doing their thing, winding down, thankfully.
We already said that basketball hosting the Rattlers of Florida A&M on tomorrow afternoon. Women's at 2 p.m. Eastern. Men's follow after that at about 4:30.
Softball in action today and all of this weekend. Dropped 2 today, 1 to Hofstra this morning. 2-1 final. Dropped Coastal Carolina this afternoon, 4-1. Coach Watton loves scheduling these brutal non-conference trips to get her team ready for conference play.
Yeah, and then we'll have softball on the Cat Eye Network next week. I think that's the only thing on the Cat Eye Network next week.
After a ton these past few weekends, it'll be quiet as baseball heads out on the road and basketball heads to the tournament.
A chance for us at BCU Athletics to catch our breath a little bit.
Take a breather. Certainly right. I always say pray for your local sports information director this time of year. Brutal.
There's 2 bad times a year. It's fall crossover and spring crossover.
The amount of games in the spring. As tough as football is, this is arguably worse. Just so many events, so many things to cover. It beats us down across the country.
There was a week right at the end of the fall sports season where I think we had volleyball, as that ball is hit out into center. Stevens going back, a step from the track, makes the catch against Nelson, and there is one away. But yeah, I think there was a stretch where we had volleyball, classic basketball on like 5 straight nights. That was
so much fun.
That was a tough week.
So much fun for any mid-major program is going to just get hammered by weekends like that, but it's why we're in the business.
De Leon bats for the Lancers. He is 2 for 3, 2 base hits, a 2 RBI double in the first, a single in the third, and then a strikeout in the 5th. One, two, the count to De Leon. And York deal, swing and a miss. He went across the plate. And it's the first strikeout of the night for York.
Nice pitch by York there.
That is what we in the business call a sword.
Good confidence boost for York. Not that he's been bad this inning, but it's great for him to get back on track. Maybe give the Wildcats some length here. Like you said, Mike, trying to save some arms for a long weekend.
Here's Hayden Harris, started the big top of the 6th for the Lancers. Upstairs 1-0. With his single that was followed by the Tanner Thomas home run, the Kowalski double, and the Dix single that plated 3 runs for the Lancers. Gave them the lead back as it currently stands 6-5. Count now 1-2 to Harris.
2-1, says the home plate official. Little miscommunication from the board there.
The board says 1-2. Upstairs. We'll see what the umpire signals if he does at all.
3-1.
The umpire says 3-1, and now the board corrects. So it is 3-1. York gets Harris to foul one into the catcher's glove of Escobar, and it is a full count. York looking for a quick inning here. And Darius deals. Strong! Oh, he got him looking. Oh, I thought it was going to be ball 4, but the umpire rang him up. 1-2-3 go the Lancers. And the Wildcats still with a 1-run deficit heading to the bottom of the 7th. You're listening to the Cat Eye Network. To the bottom of the 7th we go here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Highland Hall leads off for the Wildcats as they trail 6-5 against the Longwood Lancers. Guillermo Garcia back out for his second inning of work on the mound for Longwood. And catches the outside corner with that one, 0-1. Hall 0 for 3 tonight. 2 groundouts in the infield and 1 strikeout.
Hall changed his walk-up song going into tonight.
Has not paid dividends so far. And he was the first man up with the bases loaded and nobody out in the 5th. And he struck out. That didn't mean that the
song tomorrow.
Wildcats got anything out of that inning. They did. And Hall throws the bat, and he's 0 for 4 as he pops that one out to second base. Now Robert Moya, who was intentionally walked. Now Highland Hall does not have an RBI, although he was at the plate when the first run scored for BCU in that inning because of the wild pitch.
A wild pitch it was. Still not entirely sure what happened on that one.
And now here's Robert Moya, who was intentionally walked last time out. There's a slider strike, got the inside corner. Before that, Moya flied to center and lined to left. And he was just late on that one, man. He went down to a knee. He really wanted to hammer that ball.
Funny enough, Moya also changing his walk-up song, entering tonight. 2 guys.
Yeah, he came up here as we were setting up the equipment. It's like, hey, I want to change the song.
I told him I would be upset if he put up an 0 for tonight and changed his song. Gonna have to pick it up.
Well, he has scored a run on no hits and a walk.
Give him some credit for that.
0-2-2 and 1 out. Guillermo working quickly, and he gets the sword for the strikeout. The ball gets away from the catcher, but Kowalski throws down to first to complete the K. And there are quickly 2 away in the inning. And Boris Pena to the dish. Pena been very good tonight. 2 singles, a run scored. He was stranded at third in the 5th. And Garcia deals low in the count, 1-0.
Garcia 19 of 24 pitches for strikes. Fine in the zone.
That ball is hammered foul, and that'll make the Tomoka River. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Garcia's really fooling guys with this off-speed stuff. Wildcats are way out in front.
Picking his spots when it matters and just catching guys off guard.
And that time he swings through it again. 2 strikeouts for Garcia. 1, 2, 3 go the Wildcats. As we go to the 8th, Cats still down by 1. Darius York on the hill for his 3rd inning of work as the Wildcats try and chase down Longwood here in the late innings. We head to the 8th, 6-5 Lancers. Longwood looking for just their 3rd win of the season, which on paper would be a pretty significant upset, as the Wildcats are 6-3 on the young season.
Darius York, season-long appearance last year, 1 2/3 innings. Working in his 3rd here, had an appearance of 4 innings last week. Critical long reliever for this club.
Strike on the breaking ball. Tanner Thomas swings through it. Last time up, he had the 2-run bomb that gave the Lancers back the momentum. And he hits this one sharply into left, and that'll be a base hit for Thomas.
Longwood really has made some hard contact across the board all night long. When they're getting a hold of them, they are well-hit balls, not a lot of cheapies for the Lancers.
Tanner Thomas has kind of come out of the woodwork to lead this Lancer offense tonight. Yes, he has the home run and now the base hit. First 2 trips to the plate, popped out to left and grounded out to second. Kowalski bats now for the Lancers. He's 1 for 3. Doubled and scored in the 6th, struck out looking in the 4th, grounded out to second in the 2nd. But Thomas has hit his first home run of the night, has his 2nd and 3rd RBIs, and only his 4th hit of the season.
Funny enough for York, last season, 7 2/3 innings pitched on the year, so he passes that tonight for the
Bunts
season.
it down the first base line. They go to second, and out at second is Thomas. So they get the fielder's choice as Kowalski goes to first. Thomas is out, and here is Dylan Wilkinson. Wilkinson walked, was caught stealing in the 2nd, popped out to center in the 4th, and then sack bunted runners across in the 6th. This time he hits it high and shallow down the 3rd base line in foul territory, and reaching back to make the catch is Tuero. And there are 2 away. That was a similar catch by Longwood in center field a couple of innings ago, and you thought that it may. I don't know if that was for style or for just because he lost it in the lights. That one, it looked like Tuero didn't know where it was till it almost hit the ground, but he did come up with the grab.
Those plays down the line have proven to be tough early this season. A lot of guys struggling out there to make the play. So I'll give him credit just making a nice grab.
Here's Quincy Scipio. 1 for 2 since coming on to platoon for the starting center fielder Michael Dolberry. Takes a strike.
Wind now blowing out to dead center, it looks like.
And the wind has completely changed. It was blowing straight left to right. Swung on, liner to center. That's over the shortstop, second baseman Olison's head. Kowalski goes to third, and Wilkinson holds up with his single. So runners on the corners with 1 down now. Oh, excuse me, 2 down.
Dan Mashad continuing to get warm for the Wildcats in the pen.
Would not be surprised if we saw him in short order. And with the top of the order for the Lancers coming up in Elliott Dix. Dangerous spot here for the Wildcats. Pitch out. Trying maybe to get Scipio stealing from first. York's 1-0. Breaking ball strike. We got Scipio on first, and every time I say his name, this is going to be a weird reference, so stay with me here. Here's a 1-1. York from the stretch deals. Outside, 2-1. So I keep thinking of Scipio, which was the name of Percy Jackson's horse in the book series.
That's a great reference. I grew up reading those books. I could not have told you that was the horse's name, but I do respect the reference.
It was peanut butter colored. So it was Scipio, like Skippy peanut butter.
Big Percy Jackson guy.
I don't know why I remember that specifically. I mean, I know I've read the books as a kid, but that just came to me.
The fact that one stands out to me
I don't know.
is impressive. No, I mean, I like the reference. It's just that's a pull.
Another foul off by Dix. He is 2 for 4 tonight with a run scored and an RBI. And he fouls it left side again. He's just shy of catching up to York's fastball. But you're right, and the wind is now just swirling out there in center with no discernible direction, making it really tough on pop-ups.
Especially anytime they cut near the lights.
Hard hit out to right center field. Going back Hall. That ball is gone. It's off the wall, excuse me. Now still it's going to be a 2-run double for Elliott Dix. I thought that one was over the fence and went off the top of the wall, missed a homer by about a foot. Scoring from third is Kowalski. Scoring from first is Scipio.
Thought for sure that one was going to carry out of here the way the wind was blowing. Just maybe 3 or 4 inches below the top lip of the wall. Ball was crushed.
It is now 8-5 Longwood, and it is the biggest deficit of the night for Bethune-Cookman with only 6 outs to go for the Wildcats. First, they got to get out of this inning with Gregory Ryan. The top of the Longwood lineup has just eaten the Wildcat pitching staff alive tonight. Dix 3 for 5 with a run scored and 2 RBIs. Ryan 1 for 3 with a walk and a run scored and an RBI. And De Leon 2 for 4 with 2 RBI.
Interesting, York still in here. Probably his inning to finish at this point.
Count 0-2 to Ryan. York just trying to get back to the bench. He deals. Wildcat fans wanted that strike 3. Not going to get the call, upstairs and away. York from the stretch. Changeup hammered to center field. That'll be another run. Rounding third is Dix. He will score. Trying to get to second, and out at second is Gregory Ryan. So score Dix from second. Ryan, I'm not sure how you would score that. Would you score that a single and then caught going to second?
Definitely a single. Caught at the second. A nice relay throw there to get the runner. Probably pushing a little bit going for it, but may have assumed the throw was going home, although from second, I'm not sure. Either way, that's the inning.
3 runs, 4 hits, none left. And at the end of 7.5, it is 9-5 Lancers. Irvin Escobar leads off for the Wildcats in the bottom of the 8th, down by 4. 9-5 the score in favor of the Lancers of Longwood. If any of you are listening from Farmville, Virginia, following your team on the road, thank you so much for sticking with us tonight. Escobar appealed that he didn't go, but he did, and the count 1-1. I used to live up that way, went to James Madison. 2-2 the count to Escobar, who backs out of the box.
Coach Hernandez giving the home plate official an earful here. Doesn't like the way this one's been officiated.
2-2. Escobar holds off on a pitch in the dirt, 3-2. Escobar 1 for 3. Base hit in the 4th. That ball is popped high in the air and not deep in foul territory down the right field line. Sliding in to make the catch, I believe, is Harris, the second baseman.
One of those ones, second baseman generally does call for that ball. Impressive play, long run, kind of a half slide of a catch. Impressive play.
Here's Malik Stevens, has struck out twice, singled in the 5th, and then was caught stealing. And he swings and misses to a fastball, 0-1. And again, there will be streams of this second and third games in this series, but no commentary, especially not tomorrow when The Cat Eye Network crew will have their focus turned to Moore Gymnasium, the season finale for BCU basketball.
Can't miss game down in Moore Gym. If you can't be there, make sure you catch it live.
It's always a fun time when the Cats and the Rattlers get together. Stevens puts this one high in the air to center field, losing his hat, but making the catch is Scipio, and they're a two-way. And then no word on commentary for Sunday. I won't be here, but I'm not sure if, Bryce, you want to throw something together.
Ragtag crew. I myself will be out in Madeira Beach with BCU softball. Maybe another audio only or video only experience. Not quite sure. Just trying to make ends meet here with the crossover season winding down. We'll be back to full swing come next time you see us out here and at softball.
Yeah. Really excited as that ball went right by our broadcast position and foul. Okay, really excited to get out to Sunnyland Park for some softball action.
Reigning regular season champion Wildcats.
Missing the reigning SWAC Player of the Year.
Will definitely hurt not having Hannah Ortega on the mound for the Wildcats. She transferred to a school closer to home. Certainly can't blame her for that.
Out to Fresno State for Ortega.
Haleen Gonzalez certainly worthy of taking that title, though.
Softly hit towards center. Backing up is Ryan from his shortstop position to make the catch, and the Cats go quietly in the 8th. Down by 4, we head to the 9th, right here on the Cat Eye Network. Two hours and 20 minutes down in this ball game as we head to the 9th inning here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. James Nelson leads off for the Lancers. Check swing, no swing.
Game has gone by incredibly fast considering we've got a combined, 25 hits on the board?
Yeah, I was out at Stetson Baseball doing some work for the Hatters last week. And we had a baseball game, it was 2 hours and 2 minutes. It was almost under 2 hours, but there was a pitching change in the middle of the 9th inning in an 8-1 ball game, and it made it over 2 hours.
It always kind of feels like something's off when a baseball game gets done that quick. It's like, did we just forget some innings, or?
Are we suddenly playing softball? I don't know.
Do love a good quick softball game.
Mm-hmm.
Best part of the sport, no doubt.
Still not sure if the main broadcast power of the Cat Eye Network is going to go to the doubleheaders for softball or the single games. (3-1) the count to Nelson. Nelson 1 for 4. Singled in the third, but stranded on third. This time he hits it hard out to center field. That's a base hit. It's going to skip past Stevens and go to the wall. Stand-up double for James Nelson. Hit number 15. Am I reading the board correctly?
15 and another leadoff hit for Longwood.
And we're going to see a pinch runner at second. Justin Looney pinch running. And Luis De Leon bats. He started off the night hot. 2 RBI double in the first inning. Base hit in the third inning, but he has struck out twice since. One its second nobody out here in the ninth for the Lancers. They lead it 9-5. In a game that started off slow, but both teams have really picked up the offense in the later innings. Longwood obviously to more effect. The 1-0 pitch from York, and we were speculating in between innings that York just in there to save Wildcat arms for the rest of this series.
Dale Machado had been throwing out there every inning for the past 2.5 or so.
And now we got somebody else going out there. It's Yancel Diaz. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. Swing and a miss. And the count 2-2. If the Wildcats do end up dropping this game, which is looking pretty likely, this will be the second time this season that they've lost the front of a 3-game series. Lost the opening game to the season to Lehigh all the way back on February 17th.
It'll be their first opening day loss in 4 or 5 years.
In off the hands, popped foul outside of first. Pena makes the grab, and there's one away. 3 straight outs for De Leon.
Number 19, Hayden Harris.
Here's Hayden Harris. 1 for 4, base hit it, and a run scored. York from the stretch. Ball high.
Machado is now sat down in the bullpen while Diaz throws.
Wildcats really front-loaded their home schedule, mostly to deal with the scheduling conflicts surrounding the Daytona Tortugas, who share this stadium. As you mentioned, they'll spend most of the month of April on the road, but February and March, we got all the baseball you can ask for right here at Jackie Robinson.
Be a quiet month in April all around the Cat Eye Network. Only 1, maybe 2 softball home weekends then as well. It's going to be quiet down here in Daytona Beach.
3-0 pitch inside, and only the 3rd walk of the game issued by Wildcat pitching puts Harris aboard.
Pitch number 60 for York. If he completes this inning, he'll match his career long, his season long.
Long outing. Well, he ain't going to complete this inning because here comes Jonathan Hernandez right on cue.
Hasn't made the signal yet.
Likely relieve York of his duties. It's funny because they shot Machado down. Diaz went out there and has been warming up for what seems like about 30 seconds, and he may just be about to come into the game.
No signal yet. There it is.
So we're going to see Yancel Diaz, 4th appearance for the big man this season.
Primarily used as a pinch runner last year. Only saw a handful of appearances Did see a few appearances on the mound, but just kind of on days where really needed the extra arms. Talking position player pitching type outings.
Diaz, Rocky in his previous innings, only thrown 1 inning apiece in his first 3 outings. 3 innings pitched, 5 runs on 4 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks and 6 strikeouts, and a 6 even ERA. He's wearing that very bright blue glove on his left hand.
Does have some power on the mound. Did hit 93 on the gun in off-season workouts, preseason leading up to this. Guy that if he can just maintain his control certainly has the stuff to be a solid reliever for the Wildcats.
BCU on a 4-game road swing coming up next week. And they're all tough. At Florida State, and then a triple at South Carolina the 10th, 11th, and 12th. They'll be back here on the 14th, right on here on the Cat Eye Network for the Jacksonville Dolphins visit to Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Cat Eye Network and likely myself will be covering that one. And then the first SWAC series of the season, Alabama State coming in here 17th through the 19th. And then another home midweek action on the 21st against cross-county rival Stetson. Wildcats got the better of the Hatters last season.
Took 2 or 3 from Stetson. Started off the season with a win at their place. Beat them up here. They got the better of the Hatters last year for sure, and that's always impressive for taking those types of wins against Steve Trimper's club down there. Saw them with the Super Regional appearance back in 2018. Handful of guys in the major. Obviously, a lot of people know Jake DeGrom. Corey Kluber. This year, you'll see a lot. Logan Gilbert. Don't be surprised if you see his name in some Cy Young competitions. In his second full season as a starter for the Mariners. He was the stud on that 18 team. Carried them to a lot of wins that season.
I can tell you from personal experience, just being around the Stetson baseball program a little bit this year, is that they are very hot and cold.
A team that struggles to recruit bats a lot of the times. They tend to be the same team every year. All the pitching you could ask for, and can't quite get it done with the bats. We'll see how this year fares.
I was out at 2 games on back-to-back nights 2 weeks ago when they played Delaware. First night they lost 13-4. Second night they won 15-7.
That's a 2-game baseball swing if I've ever seen one.
First pitch from Diaz is low for a ball. The second one is outside for a ball. Correction. Oh, I thought I heard the umpire say 1-1. And the count is obviously 2-0. Out of the count. Here's a pitch. Runner's going. Throw down to third, and he is out.
Irvin Escobar, just outstanding defensive catcher, making plays like that all season. He's got a handful of caught stealings already.
Tonight. That's his second tonight.
He's all SWAC first teamer for a reason.
James Nelson denied third base, but Hayden Harris goes to second on the steal. Now 1 on and 2 out. Pitch in the dirt. And it's a 2-2 count, says the referee, even though the referee umpire, so even though the scoreboard says 3-0. Obviously out there in left center field, you can see the brand new, I guess, second year of existence, digital board. Is swing and a miss for strike 3. Goes Tanner Thomas, and no runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. Cats down by 4, trying to make a game of it right here on the Cat Eye Network. Colton Olson leads off the ninth for the Cats. They trail the Longwood Lancers 9-5 in the first ever meeting between Longwood University and Bethune-Cookman University on the baseball diamond. Upstairs, ball one from Guillermo Garcia, who has been solid after coming on in relief for the starter Logan Barrier after 5 innings of work from him.
Certainly shaping up to be a fun series if things continue as they have tonight. Bats working for both sides.
1-1 pitch by Guillermo way outside. Bit of a sparse crowd here tonight at the Jack. Here's the 2-1. Upstairs, 3-1. If you have not been out to the Jack to catch a game, be it Tortugas, Wildcats, Savannah Bananas, what have you, you need to get down here and enjoy the classic feel of Jackie Robinson Ballpark, set for a multi-million-dollar renovation coming up over the next couple of years. I know the people at BCU Baseball are very excited about that, as are the Tortugas folks.
Upgraded Budweiser bullpen, upgraded hospitality areas, potentially some coaches' offices out in center.
Olson lines that one into center field. There's a base hit, just out of the outstretched glove of Ryan. And Olson has been solid tonight, 2 for 4 with a run scored.
Continuing his excellent start to the season for the 9-hitter.
Here's Luis Tuero. Tuero 3 for 4. A double in the first, a single in the third. A single and a run scored in the 5th. They start off with a strike. Not surprising that Luis Tuero has made his way to Bethune-Cookman as he fouls that one off in the count 0-2, as he is from the same hometown as head coach Hernandez, Hialeah.
Talked a lot about that to start this season. Hotbed recruiting for Coach Johnny. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but a good portion of this roster from that area of Florida.
Fouled straight back to the fence, and Tuero stays alive. And a lot of junior college guys end up finding their way to Bethune-Cookman as well, and we always seem to end up with one of the top JUCO classes in the nation, as we have again this year.
41st in the country, best of program history.
That one over top of the Budweiser bullpen, and Tuero continues to stay alive.
JUCO guys always prove to be big for college ball clubs like this. Really plug and play, come in with a lot of wealth of experience, and a lot of times we see it translate really well at this level.
The 0-2 again. Tuero hits it high into foul territory. The third baseman, Dix, goes over and makes the grab in foul ground, and there's one away.
That ball looked destined for the stands. I think the wind here, as it may have on some of our previous plays, blew that one, kept it over the netting.
Garrett Chun has had a pretty slow start to the season offensively, only batting .241. Tonight, 1 for 3. Singled and scored in the 5th. Was used as a sacrifice bunter in the 3rd and struck out in the 1st. And Garcia's 1-0 is lined to left center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Olson around second and holds up, so 2 base hits in the first 3 batters. And now here's Highland Hall. Hall could use for a bit of redemption. He is 0 for 4 tonight.
Guy that's big-time Power 5 transfer out of Washington State. Guy you don't expect to stay quiet for too long.
But a guy that is a local from Orlando, went to Ocoee High School. Multi-sport athlete, baseball, basketball, and football. He grounds this one up the middle, out of the reach of the glove of the pitcher. On to first for one, on to second, not a double play. Sliding in safely is Highland Hall on the fielder's choice. Garrett Chun is out at second, and Olison goes to third. Runners on the corners with 2 down for Robert Moya, who is the last chance for the Cats tonight. Moya, another Hialeah guy, Miami Christian High School. And a chance to keep the Wildcats in it. Ball down low, 1-0. Transfer from Cleveland Community College is Moya. 350 batting average for CCC last year. And he drills this one. That has home run distance, but not home run accuracy. That is over the batting cages down the left field line and foul.
Just about to say prior to that pitch, it's only a matter of time before he hits one out of here. He's going to feast on some of these smaller SWAC ballparks.
He annihilated that baseball. That easily could have gone 500 feet, but it went in the wrong direction.
Not a little in front.
Moya fouls it off, and the Cats are down to their last strike. The count is 1-2. Expect something off speed here from Garcia. A lot of Wildcats have gone down swinging on his breaking ball and changeup tonight.
I'd expect another big swing from Moya before that bat is over.
Guillermo Garcia Jr. with a chance to end it. From the stretch, the 1-2. Outside, 2-2. Tough take right there by Moya. Two now. 2 outs, runners on the corners. Garcia gets the batter, Robert Moya, to swing and miss. And in the first ever meeting between the Longwood Lancers and the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, the visitors from Farmville, Virginia take the day 9-5. We're back here tomorrow night at 6 p.m.
We appreciate everybody bearing with us again as we navigate our way through crossover season, through a lot of new equipment over here, as we continue to try to beef up our Cat Eye Network broadcast. We'll make sure we have Wildcats baseball for you this weekend. May not be as polished of a product as we'd hope, but we hope no doubt that you will tune in.
Nope, that's wrong.
Give this ball club.
Just getting my final line score in order to get to you fine folks.
We also hope you'll tune in tomorrow afternoon to the Cat Eye Network for a critical set of games for men's and women's basketball. Senior day for both squads as well. Women's tip-off is set for 2 p.m. The men will follow 30 minutes after that game. Set preliminarily for 4, but it doesn't usually
go that way because
it's a fun SWAC ruling there. But it should be an exciting one. Women, of course, took FAMU down pretty handily earlier this season, men.
You never know. FAMU men, I was doing my prep work for that game this afternoon. They were rounding into form at the right time. They swept the Alabama schools last week, so that should be a tough contest. Here's your final line score. First for Bethune-Cookman, 5 runs on 14 hits. No errors, they left 6 on base. For Longwood, 9 runs on 15 hits. 1 error, they left 4 on base. Guillermo Garcia gets the win for the Lancers. York takes the loss for the Wildcats. There was no save. A start time of 7:01, an end time of 9:40 means this ball game took 2 hours and 39 minutes. That'll do it for the Wildcats. They drop to 6-4. For the Lancers, they improve to 3-8. Games 2 and 3 of this series on the Cat Eye Network tomorrow at 6, Sunday at noon. Tune in to the Cat Eye Network, of course, for basketball tomorrow. That starts at 2 p.m. Eastern. For Bryce Wojnowski and our entire staff here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark, my name is Michael Gervillo. Thank you so much for listening, and have a very pleasant good evening.